This story begins with a young boy talking with a demon lord. He was addressed as a great hero by the demon, who said if the hero fails to stop him, the world will come to an end. The young boy, who was referred to as the great hero, made use of his 5th Dragon series sword in stabbing the demon lord. And the demon lord employed the use of his satanic power at full force, also stabbing the hero to death. However, before the hero passed out completely, he said it's finally over. Later on, we moved to a school, which is a school where heroes are made. We get to meet a new student called Blade, who was so excited to make new friends. His eagerness made him to meet some other student, and ask them if they could be his friends. While Blade was meeting his new friends, we got introduced to Ernest Flaming, who is the top student in the school, and she was popularly called Empress. While Blade was talking with Empress as to why he is here in the school, he mentioned that he is not interested in being a hero, but is more interested in making new friends, and he requested Ernest to take him to the headmaster's office. On getting to the office, Ernest was shocked to meet with the king, while Blade behaved all natural towards the king, all to her amazement. When Ernest left the office, Blade questioned the king as to what the king is doing in the school. The king responded by saying he needed Blade to regain his power as a hero. While still discussing with the king, we got to know that the young kid who slew the demon king was Blade, but he is the great hero who came back alive. Later, we saw Ernest calling Blade a half-hearted person, who might have cut corners to be in the advanced class. Ernest, who was still talking with Blade not paying attention to her, makes her angry, and when he touches her head, she annoyingly took her sword to hit him, and to her surprise he disappeared, cutting across the wall. That same day in the class, Blade made a new friend called Sophie. While he was talking with Sophie, Empress was talking with the supervisor on testing the transfer student's ability, which was against the class curriculum for the day. Ernest mentioned that the advanced class is on another level, and if he failed in passing the test, he would have to admit that he got into the class illegally, and would be forced to leave the academy. Blade, who was determined to stay in the class, employs the use of his 2nd sword. He made a shape of a familiar fighting spirit, and to everyone's surprise, the shape of the fighting spirit he formed was Dragon series. It was surprising, as everyone thought that the hero with the Dragon series was dead. Blade, who was focused on passing the test, summoned his power and attacked the dummy, but his Dragon series power was so strong that it caused lots of damage, tearing the cloth Empress was putting on, leaving her tattered and half naked. While they were eating, Ernest summoned up the courage to apologize to Blade for what she said earlier, and was surprised that Blade did not remember what she said to him, and that it had been bothering her. Blade told her that is one reason she shouldn't be bothered by it. Although he teased Ernest when she said sorry, he accepted it with thanks. They conversed for a while, and Ernest was surprised, as he concluded that they were pals because they ate at the same dining table. Ernest, who was shocked, because she does not have friends, due to some things she has done, and always will do, replied that she doesn't mind being his friend too. She went to her room, happy that she had her very first friend while rolling on the bed from happiness. Suddenly, her sword shakes violently, and she remembers when she was a child. When she was 6 years old, she unknowingly laid her hands on a cursed demon sword in the Flaming family's custody. The next day in class, the spirit of the sword seems to be controlling her, as the class was on a whole different level. She was merciless, and she almost wanted to cut one of the students with the sword, more like she wants to slash him from head to toe. Ernest struggled with this, as it was obviously above her control. However, she manages to stop herself from taking that action. Blade heard that the Empress has been scary of late. When it was Blade's turn after Sophie have admitted defeat, she passed out, and Blade took her to the hospital. While in the hospital, Blade begged the nurse to make her better, like she did for him. Unfortunately, the nurse responded that she heals injuries, and she does not deal with spells and curses. While Blade was still discussing with the nurse, she woke up, asking what she is doing there. Realizing she passed out, she felt bad asking if she did something awful. She then stood up to say she is fine and she needs to go, and after much resistance, she was allowed to go, with Blade promising to look after her. Back in school, Ernest told Blade not to let anyone know about what he heard in the hospital, and Blade assured her that he cannot sell her out and that they are friends. At night, Blade went to a room to make some findings, using some sort of technology. From his findings, he discovered that the demon sword's name is Asmodeus. With this information, he met Empress the next day to discuss something. He told her that he knows the secret behind her sword, which shocked her. We got to know that the sword has its own will, and grants its owner tremendous power, but Ernest does not have full ownership of it. Blade was so concerned about her that he wants to help her, so he asked Ernest how that happened. Ernest then told him what happened, and mentioned that ever since 6, she has been holding back those urges, and she could still hear the voice of Asmodeus, begging her to slash and burn. But thanks to her stubbornness, it hasn't taken over. Blade mentioned that there is a way, and Ernest said she is aware of what to do, which is the sword acknowledging her as its owner. But she was scared of failing, and making the bloodthirsty demon come back to life. Blade responded that it was okay and that when that happens, he will cut it down. After some consideration, Ernest chooses to believe Blade can be of help to her, so she summoned the courage to face the demon spirit. She commanded the spirit to obey the oath and try her spirit, to see if she will pass the test. The spirit responded saying, "So be it." And Blade also gave her moral support, saying he have faith in her. She continues to summon her power until she was separated from Blade, and she addressed the demon, saying she needs him to submit to her. The demon responded that he is power and fire, and after so many backs and forth, it led to a fight between Ernest and the demon. Ernest fought and was able to suppress the demon, and she was surprised that she made it back. And that's the end of the video. Please tell me your opinion and like the video. Take care, and stay tuned for the next episode.